So our learning target today is I can problem solve integer word problems. So kind of all the skills that we've been working on, but now we're going to do some pictures of kind of what's going on. So I'd like you to think a lot of these in terms of a story. So then I'd like you to draw a picture of how that looks, especially when it's related to temperature. When it's related to temperature, you really should be thinking of it like a thermometer. So a few of these will be in that capacity. Okay, so if this is 0 degrees, this is 0 degrees. We know everything above it would be positive and everything below it would be negative. So we think of kind of a thermometer setup, and this is our 0 degrees. Maybe I'll draw a line here. So it says if it is negative 25 degrees in Rantoul, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that. I apologize if I mispronounced it, but negative 25 degrees, that is in R. You notice I didn't say it again. It's 75 degrees in Honolulu. The question is asking what is the difference in temperature between the two cities? And what most kids want to do is they want to know, they want to think of it as, well, it's just 75 minus 25, but that's not true. The difference or the distance between these kind of is an absolute value situation of 75 minus negative 25. Oh, we have a chop going on there. The difference of that is really 100. It's 100 degrees difference between the two cities. So I'm going to show you kind of another way of how I see that. Okay, so if we look at the thermometer over here, we would say that from top to bottom, so this is 75 degrees to get to 0, and it's 25 more. So the distance between those two would be 100-degree difference between the two, which is the same as 75 minus negative 25, absolute value of those, because we would chop those. Okay, so that's our first temperature scenario. So we're going to be doing more of those as we go. All right. Let's see here. Will, let's go back to this first page. Not sure why it doesn't get me back to that first page. I don't know where the first page went. Oh, here we go. So Katie is doing an experiment. With the help of her teachers, she is doing an experiment on the effect of low temperatures on bacteria. She cools one sample of bacteria to a temperature of negative 51 degrees Celsius and another to a negative 76 degrees Celsius. What is the difference in the two temperatures? Again, so think of a thermometer. I want you to identify 0 degrees. In this term, it's Celsius. We know positives are up here. We know negatives are down here. So the two temperatures are located at negative 51 degrees, and I know it's not drawn to scale here, and negative 76 degrees. So what we really want to know is just what's the difference between these two numbers, difference in temperature. So just the picture just says how many units between 51 and 76. So how many units are between these two numbers? We would say that it's a difference of 25 degrees. We wouldn't say negative 25. We'd say it's a difference of 25 degrees. So another way to think of that is we could take the absolute value of those, and we could say, well, negative 51 minus negative 76. What's the difference? We would chop, and we would get that 25 degrees. You could also invert that and do it the other way. Negative 76 minus negative 51. We would chop that, and then we would take the absolute value of negative 25. So you can do it through a picture, and you can also use this idea of absolute value. Okay, so there's our first two word problems today. So now let's take a look at this problem up here regarding a monkey. So we're just going to draw a picture essentially. A monkey sits on a limb that is 25 feet above the ground. So here's 0 feet. And here's the monkey at 25 feet above the ground. I'm not going to have enough space here. Okay, so I'm going to move that down a little bit. So I've identified that first section. A monkey sits on a limb that's up 25 feet above the ground. I can't draw, so I'm not going to be drawing a monkey, but if you can, go for it. He swings up 10 feet, climbs up 6 feet more, and then jumps down 13 feet. What is, or how far is the monkey, how far off the ground is the monkey now? So we have a situation where the monkey is up 25 feet, then it went 10 more, and then it went 6 more. So that would be 25 plus 10 plus 6 would be 35 plus 6 is 41. So the monkey then would be at 41 feet in all of the upward motions. And then it says he jumps down 13 feet. So if we subtract these values, 11 subtract 3 is 8. 3 subtract 1 is 2. So we would say that the monkey is 28 feet above the ground or off the ground. Okay. So now let's take a look at another word problem. Let's go back to this screen. All right, so number 4, the temperature at noon on a winter day was 8 degrees. So here's 0 degrees. This is positive. This is negative. And the temperature is up here at 8 degrees. 8 degrees. At midnight, the temperature dropped 15 degrees. Dropped 15. It's not at 15, it dropped 15. So if the temperature drops 15, it's going to go 8 units down to get to 0. And so we need 7 more units. So it's got to go down 7 more. So this is our 8 and our 7, which is our total of 15. So what was the temperature then? Where at midnight, we would say the answer is that the temperature at midnight is negative 7 degrees Celsius. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at question 5. I'd like you to pause the video at this point and give that one a shot. So go ahead and pause that video. Okay, so you all should have tried that. So an architectural building drawing of a building shows the elevation of the basement floor to be at negative 12 feet. So hopefully you've drawn a sketch of that. Down here at negative 12 feet. The elevation of the roof is at 32 feet. So the question is, what is the difference or the total distance from the roof to the floor? So from roof to 0 would be 32, and from 0 to floor would be 12. So it's really a situation of 32 and 12 is 44 is the total distance. You can also think of that as an absolute value problem. That's kind of the fancy way to do it, where we would stop, chop, chop that, which would still give us 44. So hopefully you did okay on that problem. All right, next problem, question number 6. Yeah, let's do question number 6. Okay, so I'm going to have you try question number 6. So pause this video, try question 6. Give it a shot, and then we'll go over it. All right, so you should have given it a shot. It says that we have Mount Everest is the highest ever elevation in Asia is at 29,028 feet above sea level. So if this is 0, we have This located at 29,028 feet above sea level. So that would be in the positive direction. The Dead Sea is at the lowest elevation, and it is, read it carefully, 1312 below sea level. So we have above and below. So down here at negative 1312, so 1,312 feet below sea level. The question is asking, what is the difference between these two elevations? So really it's an addition problem because we're going from here to here, and then we continue to dig, which is the total of those two. So the fancy math way to look at that would be, what is the absolute value of the difference of these? And the reason why it's absolute value is we want to make sure it's positive because we're talking about a distance. And then we would chop that to figure out the total distance. So if we were to find the total distance of that, we simply would just add those together, which would give us a grand total, check your work, of the difference between those two elevations would be a difference of 30,340 feet. Okay, so let's see if we're going to pick out any other ones here. Yeah, maybe we'll do this one. In Buffalo, New York, the temperature was negative 14 degrees in the morning. So let's draw a picture of that. Actually, why don't you give that one a try? Pause that video. Give it a try. All right, so you should have tried that. The temperature in Buffalo, New York was negative 14 degrees Fahrenheit in the morning. If the temperature dropped, which means it got colder, 7 degrees, dropped 7 degrees, what's the temperature now? So this is a situation where you're going to go down 14 and you're going to go down 7. So if we were to tug of war that, we would really have 14 and 7 more. So the result of that is that the new temperature would be negative 21 degrees Fahrenheit. Notice I'm not asking about the difference between those, but negative 21 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so let's try maybe one more for today, and then we'll call it good. Yeah, let's do question 9. So I want you to work on question 9. Yeah, question 9. So I want you to work on question 9, and then we probably will call it a day, okay? So I know we're at the almost 13-minute mark, so try that question, pause it, and then we will see how you did, okay? All right, so you should have tried question 9. A submarine was situated at 700 feet below sea level. So here's 0 degrees, or 0 feet rather. 700 feet below sea level would be negative. That's where the submarine is. So here's the submarine down here. An airplane flies at 10,300 feet above sea level. So this is the airplane. This has been kind of the question of the day. What's the difference in elevation? So the difference in elevation would be this distance plus that distance together. So the fancy way to look at that is the absolute value of 10,300 minus negative 700 is the fancy way to look at that. We chop, which really becomes an addition problem, that the difference in elevation would be 11,000 feet in difference of elevation. Okay, so you get the idea of what we're working for today, of drawing pictures in those scenarios about elevation or temperature or change, and connecting it to kind of those skills that we've learned this year. So those are our word problems on integers. Just make sure you're always drawing a picture. Great job, and have a glorious night. Good job.